2026 is going to be an absolute banger. You know how I know this? Is because we're going to be getting Rings of Power Season 3. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, man. Like, how can... Why would you do this? Okay, like, obviously, like, it was already greenlit for 5 seasons, and listening to some of the behind-the-scenes interviews with those brainlets that write this show, it's interesting the verbiage that they were using, okay? Like, they always talk about the fact that there was always 50 hours of content that they had planned. It was never talking about episodes, it was never talking about seasons, but they always referred to it as 50 hours, which led a lot of people to think it's like, okay, obviously, because season 3 wasn't officially renewed, even though we knew it was always set to go for 5 seasons. That's what they announced at the beginning of this project, and by hook or by crook, spending $1 billion, they were pot committed and they were going to see it all the way through. But the fact that they took so long meant that there were some obvious negotiations, because they could see the viewership. They knew that this was a diminishing product, and yes, you better find a way to turn this around. So yeah, we're going to be cutting back the budget, or you guys better start doing some proper things here in order to justify your position. So yeah, there was obviously some stuff going on and going, okay, how are we going to do this? You already condensed so much, and there's only a few real big tentpole events to happen left during the Second Age that you guys haven't either made redundant through your lore breaks or made impossible for the exact same reasons. Like, there's so many things that they could have done right, but instead, no, we just need to lift from the Peter Jackson trilogy all of the iconography that you guys remember in order to just, stimulate the dopamine releases in your brains, because, hey, you remember Narsil? Well, Elendil got Narsil from the Blind Queen in Numenor, because how would a blind lady know where a sword is in a room that she was using as a go-between to tell him to flee Numenor? Or hey, look at that, we got Tom Bombadil, because no major adaptation of Tolkien has ever brought him to screen before. We got that. You guys know Tom Bombadil, right? No, we got Barrow Wights because Peter Jackson didn't have him before. That's what I kind of think. Like, we're heading for some intense cringe going forward, and for as much as they've wanted to and tried to lift any nostalgia from the Peter Jackson trilogy, I can imagine that they're going to start trampling on The Hobbit here in the very near future, because we're eventually heading towards the War of the Last Alliance. So you're going to have to start dragging in some other people, and some people that from those Hobbit movies, which are not great. They're not great. And I'm going to be watching the theatrical cuts to just see, it's like maybe it's a reverse, Lord of the Rings situation where, the theatrical cuts are better than the extended, but we'll see. But I have some theories that are going to be, oh my God, they're going to be absolutely abhorrent, because for as much as repurposing there are some who live who deserve death and others who die who deserve life, who are you to give them? Having that being repurposed by Tom Bombadil and said back to Gandalf as justification for not going after his, female salmon hobbits at the Stour village. It's like, as much as that makes you just want to roll your eyes back so hard it gives you a second grade concussion, I think that there is so much more cringe that's left to be out there. There's some also integral characters that we know very much are supposed to be there. Like, where's Celeborn? I think he's probably going to show up this season, mostly because, there's going to be a major time jump. But, oh boy, I think there's going to be some other reveals that are going to be there that's, I'm personally, if we're going to see them, I think it's going to be real shit. But let's take a look at the official word on this, because Rings of Power officially renewed for Season 3 plans a major time jump, because, as we left everybody at the end, like, this is just like a couple minutes before the end of the season where, okay, Sauron has the 9 rings. He has the 9 rings for men. Dwarf lords are set to start handing them out. Okay, they got all 7 of them there, how did Durin, or Prince Durin, who's now going to become King Durin probably the next time that we've seen him. How did he get back the ring before his dad hopped at the Balrog when he was shown being taken away after the mine collapse? How did they just sneak back in there and grab the ring in order to disperse them to the rest of the dwarves? It's kind of crazy. So they're just sitting out there, and I don't even think we could name 7 individual dwarves, but all of those rings are going to get disseminated, and Sauron's probably just going to have all of the 9 rings of men that are out there, and we're just going to, beeline to the Nazgul, because, hey, everybody remembers ring wraiths, right? Like, that's obviously what's going to happen, and I would imagine season 3 likely crescendos with the fall of Numenor, but the way that they're going to have to contrive Sauron getting into Numenor and corrupting Pharazôn, who's already a mustache-twirling retard, it's like, okay, cool, somebody who's already gleefully evil becomes even more evil, is like, yeah, okay, cool. Not necessarily going to be a big shock when the corruption of Numenor leads to its ultimate downfall, but okay. That'll probably happen, that'll probably crescendo in season 3, but how fast they just speed run through, what, thousands of years of major events in the Second Age. You would think, right, like if this was a regular show, like the crafting of the One Ring would be at the end of the 4th season, and the end of the 5th season would obviously be the War of the Last Alliance, but maybe he just makes the One Ring at the end of season 3, and we just try to get to all of the key jangling iconography we possibly can, as like, oh, look at that, hey guys, we know that nobody's watching this shit, but hey, now you should, because the One Ring's there, and Elendil has Narsil, because whatever. Prime Video has officially confirmed the Rings of Power. I'm not calling it Lord of the Rings because it's not. For a 3rd season, the Rings of Power is in pre-production and filming of the hit fantasy drama, The Hollywood Reporter, bro. I don't know why are you still carrying water for this lethargic program? Like, we've seen the numbers and we'll go over them, but it's not a hit. It makes you want to hit your head against whatever monitor you're watching it on, but it's not a hit. Is to begin this spring. Oh, okay. Filming will begin this spring for the show's new production home at Shepperton Studio in the United Kingdom. Ooh, so we're gonna get like tax documents in order to figure out how costly season 3 is. That's gonna be interesting. The fans have been eagerly awaiting a renewal news since the show's 2nd season finale aired in October. Well, I take umbrage with the fact that people have been eagerly anticipating this, but yeah, the fact that we're here in mid-February and we're finally getting news that season 3 has been confirmed, that's not good. That's not good under any metric for a show that was already confirmed to have 5 seasons. It took you 5 months? Come forth with news that, yep, we're going ahead with the plan? That's interesting. The Hollywood Reporter can reveal that the show is executing a major time jump going into new episodes, with Sauron now crafting the icon. Fuck! Seriously? Yo, that gets me tight right there, because, oh man, like, they've already busted so much shit right here, but yeah, cool, man. We're probably gonna have, like, Nazgul in the second episode, because we don't even fucking know 9 guys that are out there, okay? Like, I've got a couple of things that I know we're gonna end up doing, because, god damn it, man, like, these guys are such fucking, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, like, just people who, prior to getting this role, had one uncredited script for Star Trek Beyond, and that's the only thing that they have done before. They're disciples of J.J. Abrams, and they're some of the most hackiest hacks to ever hack before, and they get the most expensive series of all time. Like, you had all of these resources, right? Like, I just cut a video on the Harry Potter casting news, right? And like, HBO has the opportunity to have one of the biggest shows in history. There's no reason that the adaptation of the Second Age of Tolkien's masterwork, it couldn't be this big. You had $1 billion, man. You could have assembled a dream team of creatives, both in front of and behind the camera. But outside of a couple of standout performances, like Charles Edwards as Celebrimbor last year, like, he was a good actor. The shit that he was fed was absolutely mind-numbing, and the character makes 0 sense, but he was a good actor. Elendil's actor's pretty decent. But yo, man, Isildur's actor, he's an untalented, scatterbrained dork. Galadriel, don't make me laugh. She has the funniest faces ever pulled, and we're supposed to be on the way to making her the Lady of Light. According to J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, she's halfway to becoming Kate Blanchett's interpretation as the Lady of Lothlorien. Don't make me fucking laugh. I guess, the falling off that cliff, falling those a couple 100 feet and breaking every bone in her body and making one big organ out of everything inside of her upon impact is just somehow mashed some femininity back in her. Like, what? No, that's insane. But no, we're just gonna be, he's just gonna be down there in Mount Doom. Okay, so how's he gonna get to Numenor? Like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, so how's he gonna get to Numenor if he's gonna be down in Mordor? If he's gonna be crafting if he's gonna be crafting the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom, because that's what he's supposed to be doing. He's gonna have Nazgul in the first episode. I bet you, because he has the 9 rings, and it's like, oh man, that's so stupid. Like, he's just gonna hand them out, and I kind of think, now before we get, I want to read the rest of this stuff, at least the setting that we're going to be walking into, before we get too far into the theory theory crafting, I'm kind of thinking, okay, because these guys do such short-term setup and payoffs, it's absolutely insane. So I would imagine, like, you had not Saruman, he's definitely Saruman, even though they said, oh, no, he's definitely, we can definitively say he's not Saruman. But it's like, why did you have him say old friend Gandalf time and time again? Refer to him as one of the 5 Eastars who came over from Valinor. It's like, it'll be interesting to see where Gandalf is going to be. But no, before I get to that, okay, like, we don't know 9 guys. We don't know 9 kings of men. The only time that we've heard kings of men referenced was Brank, Skeletor out there in the deserts of Rune, who was an underling of not Saruman. Like, he wanted not Saruman to heal the curse upon his flesh. I would imagine they'll probably contrive some way that, oh, okay, you know, Saruman just, I don't know, went over to Rune for like a weekend to go chill or some shit like that. Walked up upon Skeletor and is saying, hey, I got some of these rings, and it's like, yo, they fixed like what was going wrong with like Adar at the end there. Like, he got all pretty after he put on, you know, Galadriel's ring. Is like, you don't know, these rings work like that, so they like fix your shit. So like, if you put this one on, I know it's a little bit different. That was made with mithril and gold and silver from Valinor, but mine was made with my own blood and goops and shit. I don't know how Celebrimbor made it, but anyway, just put it on and it'll fix everything. And you and your other 1, 2, 3, 4, you and your other 8 former kings who got like turbo leprosy or some shit, like, it'll fix all of that. Don't worry about it. Put that. Oh my god, look at that. Now you're my Nazgul. Let's go. Oh, you just happen to be from Angmar? Oh, that's super cool. Oh, you're like a witch king or some shit like that. You want a fell beast? You want to go live in Minas Morgul? I got a place for you. Let's go. It'll be that fucking dumb. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. But, oh, let's take a look. Okay, I see some things that I also hate as well. Okay, here in the exclusive log line. Okay. Jumping forward several years to the events of Season 2, Season 3 takes place at the height of the War of the Elves and Sauron. Oh, fantastic. Oh, my God. So it's so bad because at the end of Season 2, right, because they're down there, okay, they're healing Galadriel in down by a place, right by a river. There's a river right there where elves and everybody was dwelling, so that's interesting. So you got a rivery place where elves dwell. Yeah, they're gonna have a river, yeah, Rivendell established. Oh my god, they're such fucking hacks. I hate it. And there was also, yeah, there's like a reflector shield around us because like the rings are here or something like that. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's okay. So yeah, Rivendell's just going to be thriving in a couple of years. Don't worry about it. But because Arendir's there and he's not doing anything because it's like, hey, my bitch died in the off season. So I don't know. Like, we started off, you know, Season 2 with her in the funeral pyre. They're going to go, because they're eventually going to have to bring in the Mirkwood elves because, yeah, it's the War of the Elves against Sauron. It's going to be so great. It's going to be wonderful. Big, stupid battle, right? It can't be any dumber than the Siege of Eregion, but, oh, my God, he's going to have to go home to his new home, and I can't remember, is it still the Greenwood, or has it become Mirkwood yet? But, oh, man, they're going to have to bring in one of the best, my personal opinion, the best character from The Hobbit. Like, they're gonna have to bring in Thranduil, and he's gonna be so pathetic. Oh my god, because they ruin everybody, right? Because Gil-galad in the Second Age is like the baddest motherfucker to roam the face of the earth. Like, he's so cool, and now he just looks like a Kinko's manager. Like, he's some dork who's just running the night shift at a Subway. Like, he's so pathetic, man. And to turn like Lee Pace's Thranduil into just some bitch, it's gonna be, oh my god, I already despise it. I haven't seen it, and I don't even know if it's gonna happen, and I already hate it. And because they just mess with time so much, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Arendir to go down and talk to Thranduil about needing reinforcements and Legolas popping up. Oh my god, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be wonderful. Fucking kill me. As the Dark Lord seeks to craft the One Ring. How did he come up to the conclusion? Because right now he has no idea outside of Celebrimbor and his dying breath saying, and one will be your downfall. Like, he has no idea that he needs to make a One Ring. Okay, like, it's just out there, but he's just gonna know about it at the beginning of Season 1. Oh, this is gonna be such a mess. He needs to win the war and conquer all Middle-earth at last. Oh, man, but, okay, where's Gandalf gonna be? Okay, because right now, yeah, like, he's he's just wandering around in Rune. He's now officially been separated from, you know, the Harfoots, who are, if this is going to be a couple years ahead. Here's something else, right? Because these are such insecure showrunners because they think that they could one-up Peter Jackson by including all of the stuff that was left out of the trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, hey, look at that. We got Tom Bombadil. Oh, we also have Barrow Whites. Okay, Peter Jackson didn't have those, but we have them, so that makes us better, right? Right? Because we're more faithful. We're more accurate to the lore, you absolute hacks. But you know what else they're going to do? Okay, because it's definitely Saruman. Okay, like, you got Mance Rayder playing Saruman. Great casting, great actor, but yeah. They're going to have him come over and find the Shire that's probably already going to be established there because, you know, linking up the Harfoots with the Stores, it's like we don't need to see that because the less we see about them, the better. But yeah, they're going to have this Shire. It's going to be established. It's going to be wonderful. And then they're going to have Saruman come through and scour it because it's probably going to be a nice little wooded area. And then in order to explain away where there's, you know, just a big open field with all of the hobbits in the ground instead of living in their caravans or living in encampments. It's like, oh, why are they all living in the ground? Oh, because the Dark Wizard came over and he burnt everything down. And Rings of Power season 3 or 4 because he did the scouring because that's what Tolkien did. Isn't that cool? So stupid. But yeah, what's Gandalf going to be doing? Is he going to link up with the 2 blue wizards? Because those weren't in any of those weren't in Peter's works. See that? Or is he going to hook up with Radagast? Is he going to just have, instead of just poop on his head, he's just going to be shitting down the throats of the audience? Is that what's going to happen? God damn it, man. The War of the Elves, yes, took place during author J.R.R. Tolkien's Second Age. Yeah, why are you referencing something that is just so disassociated from this work? It's crazy. And the first major battle in Middle-earth against Sauron. What? It was the first major battle against Sauron. Yeah, in Tolkien's work. But you already had an afternoon in the Southlands in season 1, and then you also had the most pathetic siege ever of Eregion in season 2. So yeah, okay, whatever, man. It's a battle that occurs, yes, before the clash, yes, seen in the prologue of the Lord of the Rings, yes, the War of the Last Alliance, which they're eventually building to. The production is also announced. It's the director lineup for the 3rd season, which they were so proud of in the 1st season because they had 5 women, all female directors, which is like, yep, that totally makes sense. International Emmy Award nominee Charlotte Brandstrom. Yeah, she worked on Shogun, huh? Yeah, but she was also in season 2, and she thought that, Galadriel, she was like real hot, and she fell in love with Sauron, and they were definitely gonna bang. So yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, who directed 2 episodes during season 1, and then directed or co-directed 5 episodes during season 2, is back for a 3rd season. Sana Hamiri from The Wheel of Time, who directed 3 episodes in season 2, is also back. Imagine hiring anybody back from season 2, how bad that was. And then Stefan Schwartz is the newcomer on board for season 3. Yeah, Stefan also has other things outside of working on The Boys and The Walking Dead, which fantastic hirings that you have there, keeping it all in-house, I see, except for, well, no, because Charlotte's already been around for the long haul, but you have Stefan there, who's apparently having a difficult time figuring out who they are on a daily basis, but I digress. The 1st season of Rings of Power remains Amazon Prime TV's, yes, biggest premiere, sure, according to Amazon Prime, but you take a look at the numbers, and, yeah, plummeting ratings, non-existent audience. Amazon doubles down on a disaster. I think that is far more accurate because, yeah, we got the numbers. And to just think, right, because the dwarf subplot was actually pretty decent, mostly because it's like the Durans were pretty good actors, and even Disa not looking like a dwarf, it's like she was a pretty decent actress as well. Like her stuff and Duran stuff, like it wasn't that bad. Like he was obviously an overly emotional dink, and it's like that was tough to watch at some points, but they were pretty good. They were a functional couple, but now she can just call bats on command and stone thing and bring down the caves whenever she wants to. And oh yeah, she found a Balrog, but doesn't really care that much about finding a Balrog. But whatever, man, just go drop another tuning crystal and then just, stumble upon another one of the nameless things in the world. The renewal announcement arrives under the shadow of failure. Luminate TV and Film Report for 2024 revealed a disastrous 60% drop in viewership between season 1 and season 2, the 1st season, while labeled Amazon Prime's biggest premiere. Oh yeah, we just talked about that. And only 37% of viewers finished the series. And a majority abandoning it mid-season. Season 2 fared even worse, plummeting from nearly 8 billion minutes watched to around 3 billion minutes watched. Fuck. Barely beating out Disney disasters like The Acolyte. The Acolyte costing $230 million. Like, that's pathetic. And just recently, I rewatched the coverage of that abomination, and holy shit, was that stupid. But Honestly, I don't think the Rings of Power is that much more incoherent, and Jennifer Salke's dumbass wasted $1 billion on this atrocity. One would think a show with $1 billion budget could at least be reflected in the streaming top 10 original shows. Yeah, but even the lowest show, yes, on the last clock, 7 billion minutes watched, and the most expensive series of all time got 3 billion minutes watched. I cannot understate how big of a failure that is. Why these chicks in positions of power, Kathleen Kennedy, Sulky, continue to have jobs after wasting so much money and so much goodwill on fertile source material. It boggles the mind. I guess maybe because both of them can take out their dentures and go to town. Maybe that's the only reason that they still have jobs. But holy crap, man. There was that big of a drop off from season 1 to season 2. And then even during season 2, how few people gave a shit to even finish this stuff out. And you can even take a look at the coverage from the different commentators online and just view counts between the first and second seasons. Like, everybody wanted to laugh at the dumpster fire with season 1, but most people tuned out in season 2. And because they're just going to go ahead and jangle more keys, because I'm sure because, okay, cool, there's obviously going to be another big conflict, and this is something that I am also dreading. For as much as I do not want to see the proto scouring of the Shire that will make 0 sense, for as much as I don't want to see the Nazgul or whatever pathetic interpretation and how many female Nazgul there are going to be, like, that shit's going to be absolute crap. But I can imagine in the back of one of those hacks, J.D. Payne, Patrick McKay, or Jennifer Sulky's empty heads. They're probably thinking, okay, like, once we figure out what we're doing with the Isildur, he'll come back, okay, because he still has unfinished business with Kemen, the son of Ar-Pharazôn, okay? He's down there destroying the forests, okay, of Pelargir, and, you know, the only person that's left is old bumbling, stumbling Theo, who's apparently the Lord of Pelargir, rather, because his mom was Bronwyn, and she had better things to do until she didn't, when it's like, I need to go over to Iran and do activism, which was actually, I'm just going to sit on my phone at home and post on social media about how bad the treatment is of women over there, and then just take a lesser role doing something else, because working on Rings of Power for an exorbitant amount of money was far too stressful for her. But I digress. I could just imagine, though, in this one, man, for as bad as that Narsil reveal was, this one's going to be even worse, and I can imagine they're dumb enough to do this. But I could think, right, like once Isildur comes back, okay, to help out whatever the hell is going down there in Pelargir, if they got to wage another battle or something like that, because obviously, you know, like, it falls and Gondor is going to get established, and oh god, they got to also establish Gondor, and oh my god, that's going to be just as crap anyways. But I digress. But no, okay, like, the Theo's going to call for aid, and, you know, Isildur will answer, okay, and yeah, when things are looking at its worst, oh man, like, this makes me want to die inside. But I could imagine, it's like, Isildur will roll up, okay, and, you know, he'll just be, Theo will be so glad to see him, and Isildur will say, oh man, the hour of your demise draws near, and Theo will say, well, let this be the hour that we draw swords together, Isildur, because guess what, you have Isildur, who is the ancestor of Aragorn, and yeah, Theo, that's an awfully familiar name to anybody who's familiar with Tolkien source material. You know where I'm going with this. Oh yeah, it'll be a dark day, and now for wrath, now for ruin, and the Red Dawn, when he eventually reveals that, hey, Theo's actually just a nickname. It's short for Theoden, Theolinden, whatever the fuck they're gonna try to shoehorn in there. Because that's all these hacks know how to do, is stupid name reveals that make you want to put a wizard staff in your mouth, bite down, and have J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay curb stomp the back of your head. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.